The next phrase is go through with something. Go through with something means to complete or carry out a plan, decision, or promise, even if it is difficult or unpleasant. She decided to go through with the surgery after careful consideration. This means she chose to proceed with the surgery despite the risks. He wasn't sure, but he went through with the wedding anyway. This means he decided to get married, even though he had doubts. I wasn't sure I could handle it, but I went through with the presentation. This means I completed the presentation, even though I was unsure about it. The next phrase is go without something. Go without something means to live without or not have something, often temporarily or because of necessity. During the power outage, we had to go without electricity for hours. This means we had to live without electricity for a period of time. They went without a vacation for 2 years due to financial problems. This means they didn't have a vacation for 2 years because of money issues. He had to go without food for a day because of a mistake in his order. This means he didn't have food for a day due to an error. The next phrase is grasp at something. Grasp at something means to try to reach for or hold on to something, often in an unsuccessful or desperate way. She grasped at the opportunity to join the team when it appeared. This means she eagerly tried to take the chance to join the team. He grasped at the idea, hoping it would solve his problem. This means he tried to hold on to the idea, believing it would help him. The child grasped the toy but couldn't reach it. This means the child made an attempt to grab the toy but couldn't. The next word is hail. Hail means to greet someone enthusiastically or to praise them publicly. The crowd hailed the hero as he entered the stadium. This means the crowd cheered and praised the hero when he arrived. She was hailed as the best performer of the year. This means she was publicly praised for being the top performer. The fans hailed the team for their victory. This means the fans praised the team for winning the game. The next phrase is hail somebody as something. Hail somebody as something means to publicly recognize or praise someone as a particular type of person or for a certain achievement. He was hailed as a genius for his groundbreaking research. This means he was publicly praised and recognized as a genius for his work. The media hailed her as a fashion icon after her latest appearance. This means the media publicly acknowledged her as a fashion icon. The coach was hailed as a hero after leading the team to victory. This means the coach was praised and recognized as a hero for the team's success. The next phrase is hail something as something. Hail something as something means to describe or recognize something as being particularly good or important. The critics hailed the movie as a masterpiece. This means the critics publicly praised the movie and considered it a great work. The new technology was hailed as the future of communication. This means the new technology was recognized as an important development in communication. The project was hailed as a huge success by the company. This means the company recognized the project as a great success. The next phrase is hand something down. Hand something down means to pass something to someone, usually something valuable or traditional, from one generation to another. She handed down her grandmother's necklace to her daughter. This means she gave the necklace, which belonged to her grandmother, to her daughter. The tradition of storytelling was handed down through generations. This means the practice of storytelling was passed from one generation to the next. He handed down his collection of books to his children. This means he gave his collection of books to his children for them to keep. The next phrase is hand down something. Hand down something means to pass something to the next generation, usually something valuable or of importance. He handed down his old watch to his son. This means he gave his son his old watch as a family heirloom. The ancient traditions were handed down to the younger generation. This means the older generation passed on the ancient customs to the younger one. The coach handed down his experience to the new players. This means the coach shared his knowledge and skills with the new players. The next phrase is head off. Head off means to prevent something from happening or to go in a particular direction to stop or change something. The police headed off the protest before it got too big. This means the police stopped the protest before it could grow larger. She headed off to the meeting after finishing her work. This means she went in the direction of the meeting after completing her work. We need to head off any potential issues before they become problems. This means we should prevent potential issues from becoming bigger problems. The next phrase is hold down a job. Hold down a job means to keep or maintain a job for a period of time, especially a stable one. He has been able to hold down a job for several years despite the challenges. This means he has managed to keep the same job for a long time. It's hard to hold down a job when you're constantly moving. This means it's difficult to keep a steady job when you are frequently relocating. She's been holding down a job as a teacher for over 10 years. This means she has been maintaining her position as a teacher for more than 10 years. The next phrase is hold off something. Hold off something means to delay or postpone something. They decided to hold off the meeting until next week. This means they chose to delay the meeting until a later time. We had to hold off the event because of the bad weather. This means we delayed the event due to the weather conditions. He held off paying the bill until he received his salary. This means he postponed paying the bill until he had the money. The next phrase is hold off doing something. Cha. Hold off doing something means to delay or postpone doing something. She decided to hold off making the decision until she had more information. This means she chose to wait before making the decision until she was better informed. I will hold off calling him until I'm sure about the situation. This means I will wait to call him until I have more clarity. They decided to hold off starting the project until next month. This means they postponed the project's start until the following month. The next phrase is hold on to something. Hold on to something means to grasp or keep something tightly. She held onto her purse tightly as she walked through the crowded street. This means she kept her purse firmly in her hand while walking through the busy street. He held onto the rope to avoid falling. This means he grasped the rope to stay safe and prevent falling. Don't let go. Hold on to your dreams no matter what. This means you should keep pursuing your dreams even when it's difficult. The next phrase is hold on to somebody. Hold on to somebody means to keep someone in your life, either emotionally or physically. She held on to her friend through difficult times. This means she supported and stayed close to her friend during tough situations. He held on to his family after the tragedy. This means he stayed close to and supported his family after a difficult event. It's important to hold on to people who care about you. This means it's important to maintain close relationships with people who care for you. The next phrase is hold out hope. Hold out hope means to continue believing that something positive will happen, even if it seems unlikely. She held out hope that her missing cat would return home. This means she kept believing that her cat would come back, even though it was uncertain. Despite the challenges, they held out hope for a successful outcome. This means they kept believing that things would work out despite the difficulties. I'm holding out hope that the weather will improve tomorrow. This means I'm still hoping the weather will get better, even though it's uncertain. The next phrase is hold something against somebody. Hold something against somebody means to be angry or resentful towards someone for something they did. She held it against him that he didn't show up to her birthday party. This means she was upset with him because he didn't attend her birthday celebration. He held the mistake against her for a long time. This means he was angry with her for making a mistake, and he didn't forgive her easily. I won't hold anything against you for what happened yesterday. This means I won't be upset with you about what occurred yesterday. The next phrase is jump at something. Jump at something means to eagerly accept an opportunity or offer. He jumped at the chance to travel abroad for work. This means he eagerly accepted the opportunity to work overseas. When she offered him a free ticket, he jumped at it. This means he quickly accepted the offer of a free ticket. I would jump at the opportunity to study in another country. This means I would eagerly accept the chance to study abroad. The next phrase is keep something up. Keep something up means to continue doing something or maintain a certain level of activity. She managed to keep up the hard work even after a long day. This means she continued working hard despite being tired. It's difficult to keep up the pace of exercise every day. This means it's hard to maintain a regular exercise routine every day. He kept up the tradition of family dinners every Sunday. This means he continued the tradition of having family dinners on Sundays. The next phrase is keep at something. Keep at something means to continue doing something with determination, even if it is difficult. If you keep at studying, you will pass the exam. This means if you keep studying with persistence, you will succeed in the exam. He kept at practicing the piano until he became a skilled player. This means he continued to practice the piano regularly, showing determination. She kept at her job despite the challenges. This means she stayed committed to her job, even though it was difficult. The next phrase is keep something back. Keep something back means to not reveal or share something, either intentionally or because it is private. He kept back the truth about what happened at the meeting. This means he didn't tell anyone what really occurred at the meeting. She kept her feelings back to avoid causing trouble. This means she decided not to express her feelings to prevent conflict. They kept back some of the important information from the report. This means they decided not to include certain information in the report. The next phrase is keep something from somebody. Keep something from somebody means to not allow someone to know about something, usually for a reason like protection or secrecy. She kept the surprise party from him until the last moment. This means she didn't tell him about the party, so it would be a surprise. He kept the bad news from his parents to avoid worrying them. This means he decided not to tell his parents about the bad news so they wouldn't be upset. They kept the decision from the team until the final approval. This means they didn't share the decision with the team until it was officially confirmed. The next phrase is keep something to yourself. Keep something to yourself means to not share information with others, usually something private or personal. She kept her plans to herself until the time was right. This means she didn't tell anyone about her plans until it was the right moment. I decided to keep the secret to myself. This means I chose not to share the secret with others. He kept his feelings to himself because he didn't want to cause trouble. This means he didn't express his emotions to anyone to avoid problems. The next phrase is keep up with something. Keep up with something means to stay informed or continue at the same pace as others, especially in terms of progress or trends. She finds it hard to keep up with all the new technology. This means she struggles to stay updated with the latest technology. I try to keep up with the latest news every day. This means I make an effort to stay informed about current events. You need to keep up with your studies to pass the exams. This means you should continue working hard to stay on track with your studies. The next phrase is kick something off. Kick something off means to start or begin something, especially an event or activity. The meeting will kick off at 9 a.m. tomorrow. This means the meeting will begin at 9 a.m. tomorrow. They kicked off the concert with an amazing performance. This means they started the concert with a great show. Let's kick off the weekend with a fun trip to the beach. This means let's start the weekend by going on a fun trip. The next phrase is lead up to something. Lead up to something means to prepare for or gradually approach something, especially a significant event or change. The months leading up to the wedding were filled with planning. This means the months before the wedding were spent making arrangements. There was a lot of tension leading up to the final decision. This means there was a lot of pressure or nervousness as they got closer to making a decision. The speech led up to the announcement of the winner. This means the speech gradually built towards announcing the winner. The next word is lean. Lean means to bend or incline the body in a particular direction, often to rest or balance. She leaned against the wall while waiting for her friend. This means she rested her body against the wall. He leaned forward to hear the conversation better. This means he bent his body forward to listen more closely. The tree leans to one side because of the strong wind. This means the tree is tilted to one side due to the wind. The next phrase is lean on somebody. Lean on somebody means to rely on someone for support or help, emotionally or physically. She leans on her friend for emotional support during tough times. This means she depends on her friend for help with her emotions during difficult periods. He leaned on his team to help him finish the project on time. This means he relied on his team to get the project done. When things get hard, I lean on my family for strength. This means I rely on my family for support when I face difficulties. The next word is leap. Leap means to jump or spring a great distance or height. She took a leap over the puddle to avoid getting her shoes wet. This means she jumped over the puddle to stay dry. He leaped across the river with the help of a bridge. This means he jumped over the river using a bridge. The cat leapt onto the windowsill in one quick movement. This means the cat jumped onto the windowsill in a single, swift motion. The next phrase is leap at something. Leap at something means to eagerly accept an opportunity or respond with enthusiasm. He leaped at the chance to travel to Paris for work. This means he eagerly accepted the opportunity to go to Paris for his job. When they offered her a promotion, she leaped at it. This means she eagerly accepted the offer of a promotion. He leaped at the idea of starting a new project. This means he enthusiastically agreed to begin a new project. The next phrase is listen in. Listen in means to secretly listen to someone's conversation without them knowing. She listened in on their conversation when they were talking about her surprise party. This means she secretly overheard their conversation about her party. I accidentally listened in on their discussion about the upcoming event. This means I unintentionally overheard their conversation about the event. He was caught listening in on the private meeting. This means he was found out while secretly eavesdropping on the meeting. The next phrase is live through something. Live through something means to experience and survive something difficult or challenging. She lived through a difficult time after the loss of her job. This means she experienced and survived the hard time of losing her job. He lived through the war and lost many friends. This means he survived the war, even though it was very difficult. They lived through the tough economic crisis and managed to rebuild. This means they experienced and survived the economic crisis and recovered from it. The next phrase is look ahead. Look ahead means to think about or plan for the future. We need to look ahead and plan for the upcoming project. This means we should think about and prepare for the next project. He is looking ahead to his retirement next year. This means he is thinking about and preparing for his retirement. It's important to look ahead and set goals for the future. This means it's important to think about the future and make plans for it. The next phrase is look over something. Look over something means to examine or check something carefully. I need to look over the document before signing it. This means I need to check the document carefully before I sign it. He looked over the report to make sure there were no errors. This means he examined the report to ensure it was correct. She looked over the homework quickly before turning it in. This means she briefly checked her homework before submitting it. The next phrase is look something over. Look something over means to review or inspect something carefully, often for details or mistakes. I will look the contract over before making my decision. This means I will carefully review the contract before I decide. He looked over the list of guests before sending out the invitations. This means he checked the list of people before finalizing the invitations. Please look over the instructions before starting the project. This means please review the instructions carefully before beginning the project. The next phrase is loosen up. Loosen up means to relax or become less tense, often physically or mentally. She loosened up after a few minutes of stretching. This means she relaxed and felt less tense after stretching. He tried to loosen up by listening to music before the meeting. This means he tried to relax by listening to music before the meeting. It's important to loosen up your muscles before exercising. This means it's important to relax your muscles and prepare them for exercise. The next phrase is make of somebody. Make of somebody means to form an opinion or judgment about someone. What do you make of her new behavior? This means, what is your opinion about her new way of acting? I didn't know what to make of his strange comments. This means I didn't know how to interpret or understand his strange comments. What did you make of his performance at the event? This means what did you think about his performance at the event? The next phrase is make of something. Make of something means to interpret or understand something in a particular way. What do you make of this strange situation? This means how do you interpret or understand this strange situation? She didn't know what to make of the strange message. This means she couldn't figure out how to understand the strange message. I'm still trying to make something of this problem. This means I'm still trying to figure out or understand this problem. The next word is mount. Mount means to rise, increase, or grow in size, often over time. The pressure on him started to mount as the deadline approached. This means the pressure on him increased as the deadline got closer. The excitement began to mount before the big game. This means people became more and more excited as the game approached. The cost of living has mounted significantly over the years. This means the cost of living has increased a lot over time. The next phrase is mount up. Mount up means to accumulate or increase, often in terms of numbers or amount. The bills started to mount up after the accident. This means the bills gradually accumulated or became larger over time after the accident. The expenses mounted up quickly during the vacation. This means the costs of the vacation increased quickly. The responsibilities began to mount up as she took on more tasks. This means the number of responsibilities increased as she accepted more tasks. The next word is muddle. Muddle means to confuse or mix things up in a way that makes them unclear or difficult to understand. He muddled his words during the speech. This means he confused or mixed up his words while speaking. She muddled the instructions, so we didn't know what to do. This means she made the instructions unclear or confusing. The kids muddled the pieces of the puzzle, making it harder to complete. This means the kids mixed up the puzzle pieces, making it more difficult to finish. The next phrase is muddle something up. Muddle something up means to confuse or mix something in a way that makes it difficult to understand or use. She muddled up the order of the files. This means she mixed up the files and made it hard to organize them. I think muddled up the instructions. This means you have confused or mixed up the instructions. He muddled up the recipe by adding the ingredients in the wrong order. This means he mixed up the ingredients in a wrong sequence while following the recipe. The next phrase is narrow something down. Narrow something down means to reduce the number or range of options, usually to make a decision easier. We need to narrow down our choices to 3 options. This means we need to reduce our choices to just 3 options. She narrowed the list of candidates down to 5 people. This means she reduced the number of candidates to just 5. I'll narrow down the possibilities before we make the final decision. This means I'll reduce the number of options before making the final choice. The next phrase is open up. Open up means to start sharing thoughts or feelings, or to become more open and honest. He finally opened up about his feelings after a long conversation. This means he started to share his feelings openly after they talked. She opened up about her struggles during the meeting. This means she began to talk honestly about her difficulties in the meeting. It's important to open up to your friends when you're feeling down. This means it's important to be honest and share your emotions with your friends. The next phrase is own up. Own up means to admit or confess something, especially something wrong or a mistake. He owned up to breaking the vase. This means he admitted that he broke the vase. She owned up to her mistake in the meeting. This means she confessed her error during the meeting. I'll own up to the fact that I was wrong. This means I'll admit that I made a mistake. The next word is patch. Patch means a small piece of material used to cover a hole or repair something. She used a patch to fix the hole in her jacket. This means she used a small piece of cloth to cover the hole in her jacket. The car tire had a patch where it was repaired. This means the tire had a small piece added to fix it. I bought a patch to fix the hole in my jeans. This means I bought a small piece of fabric to repair my jeans. The next phrase is patch something up. Patch something up means to repair or fix something, often in a quick or temporary way. They patched up the broken fence until they could replace it. This means they made a quick repair to the fence before replacing it. He patched up the argument with his friend by apologizing. This means he fixed the relationship with his friend by saying sorry. I had to patch up the hole in my roof before the rain started. This means I quickly repaired the hole in my roof to prevent rain from getting in. The next word is plunge. Plunge means to fall suddenly and quickly, or to jump into something with force. He plunged into the pool without hesitation. This means he jumped into the pool quickly and without any fear. The stock prices plunged after the announcement. This means the stock prices fell suddenly and quickly. She plunged into the unknown, ready for new challenges. This means she quickly embraced new challenges without knowing what to expect. The next phrase is plunge into something. Plunge into something means to start something with great energy or enthusiasm, or to dive into an activity. She plunged into her new job with excitement. This means she started her new job with a lot of energy and enthusiasm. He plunged into the book, eager to learn more. This means he started reading the book with great interest and energy. They plunged into the debate, ready to argue their points. This means they started the debate with a lot of enthusiasm, ready to present their ideas. The next phrase is plunge something into something. Plunge something into something means to push something quickly and forcefully into something else. He plunged the knife into the cake. This means he pushed the knife quickly into the cake. She plunged her hands into the cold water to cool off. This means she quickly put her hands into the water to make them cooler. The soldier plunged his sword into the ground. This means the soldier quickly pushed his sword into the ground. The next word is pose. Pose means to assume a particular position, especially for a photograph or to present oneself in a certain way. She posed for the picture with a big smile. This means she took a specific stance or position while smiling for the photo. He posed as if he was a professional athlete. This means he pretended to be a professional athlete for a photo or situation. The model posed in front of the camera for the shoot. This means the model stood or sat in a particular way for the photo session. The next phrase is pose as somebody. Pose as somebody means to pretend to be someone else, often to deceive others. He posed as a doctor to get into the hospital. This means he pretended to be a doctor in order to enter the hospital. She posed as a celebrity to get attention at the event. This means she pretended to be a famous person to get noticed. The thief posed as a delivery man to enter the house. This means the thief pretended to be a delivery person to trick the people at the house. The next phrase is press on. Press on means to continue moving forward or to keep going despite difficulties. Despite the rain, they pressed on with their journey. This means they continued their journey even though it was raining. We need to press on and finish the project by tomorrow. This means we need to keep working and complete the project before the deadline. She pressed on through the pain and finished the race. This means she continued running even though she was in pain and finished the race. The next phrase is provide for something. Provide for something means to supply or make something available. The company provides for its employees by offering health benefits. This means the company supplies health benefits to its workers. The government must provide for the basic needs of its citizens. This means the government needs to ensure that citizens' essential needs are met. She worked hard to provide for her family. This means she earned money to support her family. The next phrase is react against something. React against something means to oppose or respond negatively to something. The public reacted against the new policy. This means the public opposed or disagreed with the new policy. He reacted against the idea of changing the company's rules. This means he opposed the idea of changing the company's rules. Many people reacted against the unfair treatment in the workplace. This means many people opposed or fought against the unfair treatment. The next word is reckon. Reckon means to think, believe, or assume something. I reckon it will rain tomorrow. This means I believe or think that it will rain tomorrow. She reckons that the meeting will be over by 5 p.m. This means she believes or expects the meeting to finish by 5 p.m. They reckon the new restaurant will be successful. This means they think the new restaurant will do well. The next phrase is reckon on something. Reckon on something means to rely or depend on something happening. We reckon on the weather being nice for the picnic. This means we expect or depend on the weather being good for the picnic. He's reckoning on getting a promotion next year. This means he is depending on or expecting to be promoted next year. I reckon on finishing the work by the end of the week. This means I expect to complete the work by the week's end. The next phrase is reckon doing something. Reckon doing something means to consider or think about doing something. I reckon doing some exercise would be good for my health. This means I'm thinking that doing some exercise would help improve my health. He reckons going on vacation will help him relax. This means he believes that going on vacation would allow him to unwind. They reckon working overtime is necessary to finish the project on time. This means they think it's necessary to work extra hours to complete the project. The next phrase is reckon with something. Reckon with something means to take something into account or deal with something, especially when it is difficult or challenging. We must reckon with the fact that we might not finish on time. This means we need to consider or deal with the possibility that we may not finish on time. You'll have to reckon with the consequences of your actions. This means you need to face the results of what you've done. They didn't reckon with the bad weather, so the event got delayed. This means they didn't take the bad weather into account, which caused a delay. The next word is reconcile. Reconcile means to restore friendly relations or make peace after a disagreement. They reconciled after their argument and became friends again. This means they made peace after disagreeing and returned to being friends. She reconciled with her family after years of separation. This means she repaired her relationship with her family after being apart for a long time. The two countries finally reconciled after many years of conflict. This means the two countries resolved their issues and restored peaceful relations. The next phrase is reconcile yourself to something. Reconcile yourself to something means to accept a difficult or unpleasant situation. He had to reconcile himself to the idea that he wouldn't get the job. This means he had to accept that he didn't get the job, even though it was disappointing. She reconciled herself to the fact that she couldn't change the past. This means she accepted that she couldn't do anything about the past. I've had to reconcile myself to the idea of moving away from my hometown. This means I accepted the reality of leaving my hometown, even though it was hard. The next phrase is reduce somebody to something. Reduce somebody to something means to bring someone to a lower state or condition, often through hardship or difficulty. The disaster reduced him to tears. This means the disaster caused him to cry because it was so overwhelming. The financial crisis reduced the company to bankruptcy. This means the company was brought to a state of bankruptcy because of the crisis. The war reduced many families to poverty. This means the war caused many families to become poor. The next phrase is reduce somebody to doing something. Reduce somebody to doing something means to force someone to do something, often because of difficult circumstances. The tough situation reduced him to begging for help. This means the difficult situation forced him to beg for help. The pressure of the job reduced her to tears. This means the stress from the job made her cry. The long wait reduced them to complaining. This means the long wait made them start complaining. The next phrase is reduce something to something. Reduce something to something means to make something simpler, smaller, or more basic. The movie reduced the complex book to a simple script. This means the movie turned the complicated book into a simple version. They reduced the price of the product to attract more customers. This means they lowered the price to make the product more appealing. The artist reduced the painting to just a few simple shapes. This means the artist made the painting much simpler, using only a few shapes. The next phrase is refer somebody to somebody. Refer somebody to somebody means to direct someone to another person for help, advice, or service. I will refer you to the manager for further assistance. This means I will direct you to the manager so they can help you more. The doctor referred the patient to a specialist. This means the doctor directed the patient to a specialist for more specific care. She referred me to her colleague for a second opinion. This means she sent me to her colleague so I could get another perspective. The next phrase is refer something to somebody. Refer something to somebody means to send or direct something, such as a question or issue, to someone for their attention or decision. The case was referred to the legal department for review. This means the case was sent to the legal department to be examined. I referred the complaint to the customer service team. This means I passed the complaint on to the customer service team to handle it. The issue has been referred to the senior management for a solution. This means the problem has been sent to the senior managers to figure out a solution. The next phrase is refer somebody to something. Refer somebody to something means to direct someone's attention to a specific resource, document, or piece of information. I referred him to the user manual for instructions. This means I pointed him to the user manual where he could find instructions. She referred me to the website for more details. This means she directed me to the website where I could get more information. The teacher referred the student to the textbook for more examples. This means the teacher directed the student to the textbook for additional learning materials. The next phrase is refer something to something. Refer something to something means to mention or direct attention to something, often as a source of information or evidence. He referred the problem to the rules and regulations. This means he pointed out the problem in relation to the rules and regulations. The lawyer referred the case to previous legal decisions. This means the lawyer used previous legal decisions as a reference for the case. She referred the matter to the company's policies. This means she brought the matter up in the context of the company's policies. The next phrase is refer to something. Refer to something means to mention or talk about something, often in a specific way. He referred to the chart to explain his point. This means he mentioned or used the chart to help clarify his argument. The report refers to the company's performance last year. This means the report mentions or discusses the company's performance from the previous year. She referred to her notes during the presentation. This means she looked at her notes to guide her during the presentation. The next phrase is relieve somebody of something. Relieve somebody of something means to take something away from someone, especially a responsibility or burden. The nurse relieved him of his pain with medication. This means the nurse made his pain go away by giving him medicine. They relieved the manager of his duties for a week. This means they temporarily took the manager's responsibilities away for a week. I'll relieve you of your workload today. This means I will take care of your tasks today so you don't have to. The next word is resign. Resign means to officially leave a job, position, or responsibility. She decided to resign from her position as CEO. This means she chose to leave her job as the company's CEO. He resigned after the controversy. This means he left his position because of a dispute or problem. I had to resign because of personal reasons. This means I quit my job due to personal issues. The next phrase is resign yourself to something. Resign yourself to something means to accept a difficult or unpleasant situation that you cannot change. She had to resign herself to the fact that she would miss the concert. This means she accepted that it was impossible for her to attend the concert. He resigned himself to working late every night. This means he accepted that he would have to work late regularly. I've resigned myself to the idea that I won't win the competition. This means I've accepted that I'm not going to win, even though it's disappointing. It's disappointing. The next word is resort. Resort means a place where people go for relaxation or recreation, especially during holidays. They stayed at a beach resort for their vacation. This means they went to a place by the beach for a holiday. The resort is famous for its luxury and spa services. This means the resort is well known for being high-end and offering relaxation treatments. We spent a week at a ski resort last winter. This means we went to a place for skiing during the last winter. The next phrase is resort to something. Resort to something means to turn to a particular action or solution, especially when other options have failed or are unavailable. They had to resort to using a backup plan when the original one failed. This means they had to use an alternative plan because the first one didn't work. When the computer crashed, she resorted to calling tech support. This means she had to call tech support because other solutions didn't help. He resorted to bribing officials to get what he wanted. This means he used bribery as a solution after other methods didn't work. The next phrase is resort to doing something. Resort to doing something means to start doing something as a last option when other solutions have failed. They resorted to asking for donations to fund the project. This means they asked for donations because other ways to fund the project didn't work. When the situation got worse, she resorted to hiring a lawyer. This means she hired a lawyer as a last option when things became difficult. He resorted to using a calculator when he couldn't do math in his head. This means he used a calculator after he failed to solve the problem on his own. The next word is revert. Revert means to return to a previous state, condition, or behavior. The situation reverted to normal after the storm passed. This means things went back to normal after the storm was over. He reverted to his old habits after moving back to his hometown. This means he returned to doing the things he used to do when he lived there. The software reverted to the default settings after the update. This means the software returned to its original settings automatically after the update. The next phrase is revert to something. Revert to something means to return to a previous version, condition, or method. They reverted to the old way of doing things because the new method didn't work. This means they went back to using the old method because the new one failed. The company reverted to the previous design after customer complaints. This means the company changed back to the previous design after customers were unhappy. She reverted to her original plan after considering the new options. This means she went back to the first plan after thinking about the alternatives. The next phrase is revert to doing something. Revert to doing something means to return to a previous activity or behavior. He reverted to playing video games after a long break. This means he started playing video games again after stopping for a while. They reverted to writing letters instead of emailing. This means they started writing letters again after using emails for some time. She reverted to calling her friend every day as they used to. This means she went back to calling her friend regularly like they did before. The next word is rip. Rip means to tear something quickly or violently, usually by pulling it apart. She accidentally ripped her shirt while putting on her jacket. This means she tore her shirt by mistake when she put on her jacket. He ripped the envelope open to see the letter inside. This means he tore the envelope quickly to get to the letter. I ripped the paper into small pieces for recycling. This means I tore the paper into pieces to recycle it. The next phrase is rip somebody off. Rip somebody off means to cheat or deceive someone, usually by charging them too much. The mechanic ripped me off by charging for unnecessary repairs. This means the mechanic took advantage of me and charged for repairs that weren't needed. They felt ripped off after paying a high price for low-quality shoes. This means they felt cheated because the shoes were not worth the money they paid. The hotel staff tried to rip tourists off by offering overpriced services. This means the hotel staff tried to cheat tourists by charging them too much. The next word is rule. Rule means a principle or regulation that governs behavior or actions. The teacher explained the classroom rules to the students. This means the teacher told the students what is allowed or not allowed in class. The rules of the game are simple. Score more points than your opponent. This means the game's guidelines are clear and easy to understand. Every country has its own rules for driving. This means each country has specific laws and regulations for driving on the roads. The next phrase is rule out somebody/something. Rule out somebody/something means to exclude someone or something from consideration or possibility. They ruled out the idea of hosting the event in the city center. This means they decided not to consider the city center as a location for the event. The police ruled out the suspect after gathering more evidence. This means the police decided the suspect was not involved after further investigation. We can't rule out the possibility of rain tomorrow. This means we cannot completely exclude the chance of rain tomorrow. The next phrase is rule somebody/something out. Rule somebody/something out means to decide that someone or something is not possible or not important. The doctor ruled out any serious health problems after the test results. This means the doctor determined there were no serious health issues after reviewing the results. They ruled out any new candidates for the job because of their experience. This means they decided not to consider new candidates due to lack of experience. The team ruled out the injured player for the match. This means they decided not to include the injured player in the match. The next phrase is run around. Run around means to move quickly in various directions, often in a disorganized way. She was running around trying to finish all her errands before the meeting. This means she was moving quickly from one task to another to get everything done. The children were running around the park, playing games. This means the children were moving quickly and excitedly in the park while playing. I spent all day running around trying to find the right documents. This means I was busy moving from place to place looking for the documents. The next phrase is run through something. Run through something means to quickly go over or review something, such as a plan or idea. Let's run through the presentation one last time before the meeting. This means let's review the presentation quickly before the meeting starts. He ran through the instructions to make sure everyone understood. This means he quickly explained the instructions to ensure everyone knew what to do. She ran through her speech in front of the mirror to practice. This means she practiced her speech by going through it quickly in front of the mirror. The next phrase is run up against something. Run up against something means to encounter a problem, difficulty, or obstacle. We ran up against several challenges during the project. This means we faced many problems while working on the project. He ran up against opposition when trying to change the rules. This means he encountered resistance or difficulties while attempting to make changes. The team ran up against a budget limitation that slowed down the process. This means the team faced financial difficulties that delayed their work. The next word is saddle. Saddle means a type of seat or covering, usually for a horse, used for riding. He put the saddle on the horse before the ride. This means he placed the seat on the horse's back in preparation for riding. The cowboy adjusted the saddle to make it more comfortable. This means the cowboy made changes to the seat to improve comfort while riding. The horse was ready for the rider after the saddle was secured. This means the horse was prepared to be ridden once the seat was properly fastened. The next phrase is saddle somebody with something. Saddle somebody with something means to give someone a difficult or unwanted responsibility. She was saddled with the task of organizing the event at the last minute. This means she was unexpectedly given the difficult responsibility of organizing the event. He was saddled with the extra work because his colleague was sick. This means he was burdened with additional work due to his colleague's absence. The team was saddled with a large amount of paperwork after the meeting. This means the team was given the responsibility of dealing with a lot of paperwork. The next word is seal. Seal means to close or fasten something tightly, especially to protect it or make it secure. She sealed the envelope before sending it. This means she closed the envelope securely to ensure it was sealed. The company sealed the deal with a handshake. This means the company confirmed the agreement or contract. Make sure you seal the container tightly so nothing spills. This means you should close the container carefully to prevent anything from leaking. The next phrase is seal off something. Seal off something means to block or close an area to prevent access or movement. The police sealed off the area after the accident. This means the police blocked access to the area for safety or investigation. They sealed off the room to prevent the spread of the virus. This means they closed the room to stop the virus from spreading. The building was sealed off due to a fire hazard. This means the building was closed to keep people safe from the potential fire. The next phrase is seal something off. Seal something off means to block or close something in order to restrict access. They sealed off the roads during the parade for security reasons. This means they blocked the roads to prevent people from entering the area. The authorities sealed the area off after the discovery of dangerous materials. This means they closed the area to keep people away from potential danger. Firefighters sealed off the building after the fire was contained. This means the firefighters blocked access to the building once the fire was controlled. The next phrase is send for somebody. Send for somebody means to request that someone come to you, usually for help or assistance. I'll send for the doctor if you're feeling sick. This means I will call the doctor to come and help you if you're not feeling well. She sent for a taxi when it started raining. This means she called a taxi to come and take her somewhere due to the rain. We sent for the manager when there was a problem with the order. This means we called the manager to come and help resolve the issue with the order. The next phrase is send something out. Send something out means to distribute or dispatch something, usually to multiple recipients. The company will send the invitations out next week. This means the company will send the invitations to everyone next week. They sent out the newsletter to all the members. This means they distributed the newsletter to all the members. I'll send the package out tomorrow. This means I will dispatch the package tomorrow to its destination. The next phrase is send out something. Send out something means to send something to many people or places. The office sent out the meeting agenda yesterday. This means the office distributed the agenda for the meeting to everyone. She sent out an email to confirm the event details. This means she sent an email to everyone to make sure the event details were correct. They will send out the tickets to all the participants next week. This means they will mail the tickets to all participants next week. The next phrase is set off something. Set off something means to trigger or cause something, usually an alarm or an event. The loud noise set off the car alarm. This means the loud sound triggered the car alarm to go off. His comment set off a heated discussion among the team. This means his comment caused the team to start a passionate debate. The fireworks set off a series of explosions in the sky. This means the fireworks triggered a chain of explosions in the air. The next phrase is set something off. Set something off means to activate or cause something to start, often accidentally. The alarm was set off by the smoke from the kitchen. This means the smoke triggered the alarm to go off. She accidentally set the security system off when she entered the building. This means she caused the security system to activate by mistake. The thunder set the dogs off, causing them to bark loudly. This means the thunder made the dogs react by barking loudly.